Hello and welcome to the shores of Thirlmere. This is Life Without Shakers, and it's time to begin a new chapter in this Walking the Wainwrights Odyssey. Today I'm starting on book 3, the Central Fells. Starting here at Armboth car park. We're at a 14 mile circular route today, of which the first 5 miles picks up about 5 fells, which is Armboth Fell, High Tove, High Seat, Blaeberry Fell and Waller Crag. And then the rest of the mileage is taken up by trudging all the way around to pick up one of the random outliers that Wainwright decided to include in this book, that being High Rig, before journeying back over Raven Crag on the way back to the car park. So that's the plan for today. Let's get underway. Right, must admit I have been slightly trepidatious about this walk, particularly the first 3 or 4 miles of it. It is renowned as being a particularly boggy place to be up on Armboth Fell and across the Blaeberry, so lots of fun in store, although on the upside it has been relatively dry over the last week or so. On the downside, it has been a particularly wet year so far, so let's see what we're in for. And after a bit of a search, I finally made it to the high point of Armboth Fell, 1,570 feet. This is Wainwright, 72 in total and number 1 of the Central Fells. And Wainwright says, walkers of a contrary turn of mind will summarily reject the advice to leave Armboth Fell alone and may indeed be strengthened in their determination to climb it. It can be said of very few fells that they are not really worth climbing. Armboth Fell is one of the few. And I can attest to that, having already gone knee deep in a very boggy bit that didn't even look that boggy, so I dread to think what lies ahead. On the path to High Tove, just over a mile away in front of me there, I might say it is 200 feet of ascent, dreariness and desolation. The tempting beeline cannot be done because of bog. Aim west for the ridge path such as it is. Right, well I can see a path to the west, so let's go that way. See, said it was a maze. Having just filmed that last segment from what I thought was a summit, I've now come across this, which could also be a summit. It is about equally as high as the previous bit I was standing on. Hey ho, at least I've done both. I've definitely been to the highest point of Armboth Fell now, and whichever one you count as a summit, there still isn't much of a view. And after a short but squelchy climb, we reach Wainwright number 2 of the Central Fells. This is High Tove, 1,665 feet. And AW says, it is hard to imagine that anyone feels any affection at all for High Tove, apart from perhaps the sheep whose natural heath it is. This dark heathery mound squatting on the ridge between Watdenlath and Thirlmere, and so gently contoured the water cannot drain away from it, is everywhere shockingly wet. without any redeeming feature except as a viewpoint. He also says, the top has pretensions to beauty only when the heather is in bloom. For most of the year it is a dreary place with no feature of interest. It does really, I've said this before and I'll say it again, it does make you wonder why he bothered putting some of these fells in his books if he hated them so much. But he did, and I'm here, and now it's time to go over there, the high seat. Rather intriguingly, look as though someone's been out planting flagstone paths in AW's day. Hopefully that gets through the worst of the boggy bits. Oh, it seems to have stopped again already. Look at this. This is conservation work in action. Superb effort to establish a permanent routeway through this horrid ground. If Wainwright walked through this without these stones in the way, then you can imagine how bad he had it. No wonder he hated it. Thankfully, it's a whole lot easier for me. Wow. Just wow. Just about 3 miles in. This is Wainwright number 3 of book 3. This is high seat, 1,995 feet, and this is the high point of today's walk. And this is more like it. This is what you call a Lakeland summit. Rocky crags, spectacular lake views, mountains stretching all around. Ah, beautiful. Right, view wise, that is Bassenthwaite in the far distance, Thirlmere closest to us, but furthest beyond that there's the Solway Firth and the hills of Scotland in the distance. Spectacular. We've got Great Calver, Glencathra, the Dodds, Great Watson and Stuybarrow. We've got the Helvellyn Range behind. We've got the Langdales over on that side, down to the southwest, and looking over towards Whinlatter and around to Skidder to the northwest. A 360-degree panorama of pretty much the entire Lake District from here. Right, onwards to Blaeberry Fell, which Wainwright says this is a walk to wish on one's worst enemy, especially after rain. Oh well, let's hope the Conservators have been out on this patch as well. Oh, I'm definitely with AW in his description of this route. It's like something out of the Lord of the Rings. Walking around in circles trying to find a dry path. Oh. Here we are, Blaeberry Fell, 1,932 feet, book 4 in the Central Fells. Wainwright says, unlike the eastern ridges, which give good walking throughout over a series of interesting summits, the greater part of the central ridge is marshy and the summits dreary, unsuitable territory for fell walking. But Blaeberry Fell is a magnificent exception. It's a superb viewpoint, ideally situated for a long and lazy contemplation of a beautiful panorama. Certainly is. Right, onwards north towards Keswick via Waller Crag. The view has got suddenly much better from slightly lower down the summit. We've got Derwentwater right in front of us, Skidder just beyond Keswick, Blencathra across to the right, and then beyond Skidder we've got Bassenthwaite and Solway Firth, much clearer now. And here we are on Wainwright number 5 of book 3. This is Waller Crag, 1,234 feet, and what a view it is. Just outside Keswick, spectacular view of Derwentwater. Wainwright says, the pleasant vale of Keswick, surely one of Earth's sweetest landscapes, is surrounded by mountains of noble proportions with an inner circle of lesser fells, which deserve more than the name of foothills. Among these is Waller Crag, an eminence of intermingled rocks and trees, overlooking the east shore of lovely Derwentwater. Of moderate elevation, yet steep, romantic, challenging. Okay, after 5 fells in just over 6 miles, I think it's time to stop for a spot of lunch, and where better to stop than this. Right, and with Waller Crag behind me, that's most of the fell bagging done for the day. Time to knock off a few miles and head off towards High-Rig. Point of High-Rig, 1,163 feet. This is Wainwright number 6 in Central Fells. Got lovely views of Blencathra, Skiddaw from here. Had a little bit of a bite to it, that climb, even though it was relatively low summit. Maybe because I've walked 8 miles already today. Wainwright says the short climb is as simple as the diagram suggests, although not appreciably helped by paths. Any anybody full of the joy of spring will do it in 15 minutes. I think I was slightly longer than that, but hey, it's a lovely, distinct, craggy ridge of ground here, and I'm going to traverse it all the way back to the top end of Thirlmere towards Raven Crag. And finally down off my rig. Seemed to go on a long time, that fell. Every time it looked like the path was going downhill, it went uphill again. But made it back to the dam road at the top end of Thirlmere. Just need to climb Raven Crag. Oh, it's been a long old drag, the second half of today's walk, but eventually I've made it to fell 7 of the day and 7 of book 3. This is Raven Crag, 1,520 feet, and oh, it was a steep old climb. Wouldn't be a steep old climb at any time of the day, but after 12 miles it was an absolute killer. But the prize was also worth it. This absolutely stunning view right down the length of Thirlmere. Right, frankly I'm completely shattered now. Just need to retrace my steps back down to the lake road and hot foot it back to the car park. Oh, back on level ground. It's boring old tarmac for the last 3/4 of a mile back to the car park, but it feels so good after the loose stone of the hilly paths. Oh, and after a long eventful day, I arrived back at Armboth car park. It's been a bit of a tough one today, and well, of the 7 fells, Armboth and Hightove have gone straight into the category of places I never want to visit again. But for the rest, the views on High Seat and Blaeberry Fell and Wallercrag were absolutely stunning. High Rig, that was a bit of a strange one. That was like an entire Lakeland Fell system in miniature. You could get lost up there and great fun exploring. Now Ravencrag was just one fell too many at the end of the day. Yeah, I was exhausted walking up there. Could barely put one foot in front of the other at times. I know I said I was wary of the boggies, the marshes, but it wasn't too bad. I think I got away with it today. The stone block paving on the way up to High Seat certainly helped to avoid the worst of the peat bogs. And Blaeberry Fell was a lot firmer underfoot than it might have been on another day. And in fact, the only bit of bog that actually got me was within the first mile on the way up to Armboth Fell. So I'd largely dried out from that by the time I got to Wallercrag, which is nice. Anyway, the journey around the Central Fells is underway, and indeed it's almost 25% complete already. Yeah, hope you enjoyed watching. As ever, thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you again next time. Bye.